And now, welcome to the Cannabis Community Project. Open up, Colorado. It's 420. Time to grind and burn.
This is not your son's stoner show.
Welcome once again to the Cannabis Community Project with Brainstorm, bringing you your weekly podcast from the CCP studios high up in Denver, Colorado. You're exploring the business side of this newly emerging economy, focusing on the patient, the retailer, to the geek in the garage, creating that next innovation in cannabis. This is the first media platform to help fellow cannapreneurs build sustainable businesses. Yeah, I want to see your box later.
So Herb Box is coming.
What do you think of the box? This is my new sponsor. Skunk Box is out, Herb Box is in.
It fits the need of
Feels more practical,
consumers, right? Yeah.
Herb Box offers an elegant, stylish, and discreet storage solution for medical or recreational cannabis. Practical for any containment, whether it's leaf or extracted oil. Herb Box, crafted in the USA. Thank you, community, for joining us once again on the CCP radio show. The Cannabis Community Project has been around for almost a year and a half now. Show number 68. We've come a long way, and thank you for sticking with us. If you've been here from the beginning, you've seen the evolution. You've seen the change. You've seen how this community is coming together. And now it's time to take it to the next level. You know, CCP Radio Show always aims to investigate every aspect of cannabis, as we've tried to do over the months. We do this as a means of finding businesses and creating career opportunities. This is not your son's stoner show. No. We focus on entrepreneurship. I guess just like 9 out of 10 other podcasts. The only difference is we hyper-focus on cannabis. So we're not going to talk about what's your favorite strain and what's your best war story of that one time you got high way back when. We're going to talk about starting a business in the cannabis industry. Well, living the lifestyle, of course. This is a lifestyle, and we have to acknowledge that. But that doesn't mean we have to be dropout, tuned out stoners. We can be professionals. We can be businessmen. We can be the next generation of those who bring this world, this America, back to its feet. Every week out here aiming to highlight the patient, the user, the retailer, the geeks in the garage. Everybody out there creating an innovation in cannabis are those we try to focus on. And that requires a little bit of time to be put into producing a good show, a quality show, a well-written show. To do this, sometimes we need a little bit of money. We need a little bit of money to get our hosting, our audio production, our video and visual, our creative team, our correspondence, passes and entryways to all the events happening around town. It all takes a little bit of funding. We've gone the sponsor route, collected a few dollars, helped us along the way. We've tried to go directly to the community. Hasn't been quite as successful yet, but we're going to try again. We're going to try again with a crowdfunding campaign, just like everybody else in the world is putting together. You've heard of these campaigns. You've heard of them on Kickstarter and Indiegogo and GoFundMe and Fund Anything and all the others out there. There's a lot of them. If you're curious to what crowdfunding is all about and how it works, check out theopportunifund.org. That will give you some insight to crowdfunding. But in the meantime, pay attention, because this is going to be pretty much how businesses and startups are funded from this point on out in the future. You know, it used to be in the past, you would beg your friends and your family for money, max out their credit cards, try to get your own credit cards, scrape every dollar you could together, and to try to get some type of prototype or product put together, and then use that to attract the attention of investors, angel investors, people that are out there looking to give you money just to see your company grow to the next stage, venture capitalists, people who see you have a business and a process and some type of model in place where money can be made, and they inject more money into that to expand it, and all the other types of investors that are out there, but very little for this industry. So I'm taking a different route. I'm going to see if a crowdfunding campaign works, and I'm going to see if you can help me, you as the community. Now, of course, you're going, oh, great, how much money does he want? Honestly, as much as you can give, if anything. But what I would really like is for you to be active and vocal and to help get the message I'm trying to get out to the world out there, because you can't do it alone. Even the best ideas aren't going to win in the world if you just can't get people participating with you. So you would ask the question, well, if it's such a great idea, why don't people participate? It's not how it always works. Right? I mean, based on that logic, we would say the best food in the world is McDonald's and Burger King and Subway and all these other fast food chains, because look at their revenues, look at the billions of dollars, look at the thousands of stores. So based on traction, they must be the best quality. Well, we know that's not true. And we know that's not how marketing works, and we know that's not exactly how businesses make it in the world. Marketing is an important part, and marketing means money. That's what the M in marketing really means. It means money. Do you have the money to go out there and make a name for yourself? Do you have the money to sustain the waves of the tide that keep pummeling you into the ground? I don't even know what that analogy means, or if it makes sense, or if it's even an analogy. Maybe it's a metaphor. Maybe it's a simile. I don't know. It's the thing. I'm not really an English student. All I know how to do is just talk and conversate with people. And that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to bring my abilities and my talents, of what I believe to be my talents, of talking to people and extracting information and rephrasing information in terms that everybody can understand and connecting points. This is what I believe I'm good at. And this is what I believe CCP Radio Show can have a powerful impact on the world if we can get it out there. There's not a lot of competition in the realm I'm in. I mean, media is not a very competitive world in cannabis. Yes, there are others, and there's going to be more. It's not really competition. The competition is with the money, because there's so many people starting businesses that there's just not enough money from investors to go around. So companies like mine that aren't direct, hardcore, tangible products, this is my markup, this is my margin, this is where I'm distributing to my retailers, this is the cost, this is the everything else down the line. Well, how do you really envision a media company? You have to be somebody that understands how media works, and then you have to be somebody who understands where the money comes from. Because unlike having a product company, it doesn't come from selling numbers of units. I guess in this analogy, you're the numbers of units. Each one of you listening is the price tag. Each one of you listening is the eyeballs where a dollar amount gets put on. Wherever a crowd forms, somebody wants access to that crowd to showcase their product. That's what advertising is all about. You pull a crowd together, and if you have control of that crowd where they're focused on you, somebody else will offer you money to draw that attention to them off of your momentum. This is traditionally how media has worked. And you would spend years working through markets one by one, picking up fans and an audience until your audience got big enough where you could find advertisers to pay you enough money to make a living out of it, or a career. Doesn't quite work like that anymore. The business model is a little different. It still has elements of that. I still have sponsors. I still have a little bit of money that they give me to help cover costs. But to be honest, when you're doing a niche community, it's not about, well, let's start in Denver, and then once the Denver market gets big enough, let's move to this market. We need to get our show out to the world. We need to get it out to the world with high quality production. We need to be able to afford quality website designers, quality correspondence, quality of life that comes with being able to afford flying people out to events to do reports, being able to bring patients in, being able to go out to a business and do an event on their location, being able to do advertising and marketing and promotions, being able to come up with products on your own, being able to develop segments. Media, to me, is the point, the central point that brings it all together. How does business A and business B communicate in the open market? Well, they do it through media. Open letters and newspapers and commercials, segments on TV and radio shows, CEOs giving news releases and news conferences. I just want to be at the center of that so I can help people connect. the connector, helping those come together to learn from one another. And to do that, we got to put together a campaign that allows people to have everything they want in media. So I've chosen Indiegogo. I've chosen Indiegogo to put together a campaign with incentives for people to give a few bucks of their time and money to the show, help it grow, and allow us to make an impact in the world. You see, I want to crowdsource this show. And together we're going to discover the thousands of different businesses from which individuals have obtained employment and opportunities. There are going to be thousands of businesses, once hemp production begins. Together we can help each other. We can help each other get up and growing, or just get started in business and living life to the fullest. Do you have a business, an idea? Are you struggling with sales and marketing? Are you trying to figure out how to get the business in formation? These are the things this show can help you with. I can help you. Together with my guests and correspondents, we'll cover everything cannabis through the basics of marketing, websites, financing, prototyping. There is money to be made through what is now a legitimate industry. So we might as well get people legitimately employed in it. Do you have a criminal record because of pot? Turn it into a cannabis career. Let this show help you grow a garden to save money, or show you how to take an idea and turn it into a business to make money. That idea you had when you were deep in thought out on your camping trip, becoming one with the universe? Yeah, that idea. Turn it into a viable business. There is one industry that can save not just the Colorado economy, but quite possibly a national and even international economy. Like many across the nation, across the world, those who live in a rural community have known for years that their industrial farming industry is dying. It is now time. It is now time to do something different, using the infrastructure already in place. We can bring back the new age of agribusiness 3.0 just in time to bail out so many who are depending on security for their retirement. Make it happen. This is just as much an issue for those retiring as for those just now entering the workforce. It's time to get involved and show the world how to take those wasted expenditures on jails, courts, hospitals, and shift them to the new economy of shops, farms, and fabrication, all taxed and positively industrialized. Join me. My name is Brainstorm, and I'm a cannapreneur, building a show for and by like-minded people. I'm changing the lives of individuals by helping them find opportunities as entrepreneurs in cannabis. I believe in the saying, you are what you do and think about most of the time. I created the Cannabis Community Project radio show to find like-minded people who have a similar story and desire to be an artist on their own terms. Donate now, receive your incentive, be part of the community, the Cannabis Community Project.
Usually what my experience has been also with outdoor bud and our greenhouse, and it does give you more of that pain relief in the body as far as like the sun and the natural light does something to the bud that makes THC convert more toward like CBD and CBN, less active THCs. I think that what you're saying, it might be absolutely right, man. Like you just feel it way more in your body than you were going to feel it in the head. But essentially I created the grow from the ground up essentially with the help of a friend that had prior knowledge already. So I kind of got coached in essence how to do it. Just gave me the way, just didn't show me like all the way through type thing. Just showed me general idea of how to get it done, but I did it all.
When you started up there at Colorado Wellness, were you the main grower?
I was not.
You were not?
No.
So you had to take over for somebody else?
I did, yeah.
How does that work? When you come into a grow, is there different methods and techniques where you have to either start over somebody's?
Well, all of us have our own way of doing things, really, you know? So it's like, yeah, you can do all that, keep going the way they were going, your previous person that you took over for or whatever. Everybody has their own way of doing things. Everyone likes this or likes that type thing. So first thing I did is I went and I changed a few things that I didn't like that he was doing, and I kept a few things, you know. It doesn't look as good. So like
just aesthetic.
Yeah, it's aesthetic. I mean, you buy with your eyes and your nose. 99% of us do in this industry anyways, you know, and then after after that, it's just like whether it gets you high or it tastes good or not. I mean, another thing you'll notice with outdoor pot in general, it's going to have a darker tint to it anyways.
Because of that sun you were talking about, pulling everything from the plant.
Yeah, the sun changes the color for sure when it's grown outdoor, and you can totally see it whether it's greenhouse or it's just straight up outdoor in the sunlight only.
I've talked to people through Medicine Man that have similar, there's similar, just massive.
So, in my belief, massive operation. They call themselves the Walmart of weed. Right. So that just goes to tell you right there, if you have any idea what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, let's look at it first before we hit it. So give me just a visual. So you're well experienced with making shadows, waxes,
visual,
oils,
the color is great. Color is what you're looking for.
What are you looking for in color?
The gold is more as a shatter consistency.
Okay.
Right? Because it's harder. It's got that clear, almost like translucentness to it, where you can kind of see through it if you hold it up to the light. Yeah, basically.
Very amber color.
Yeah, exactly.
Sticking to you as it's going.
It could be that, right?
Which supposedly is non-toxic.
That's what they say. Yeah, but who really knows?
So we're gonna burn this. What are we using to burn this with?
So we got our Eric Ross 4.0, one of my favorite pieces, and one of my favorite blowers, man. His Glass is Supreme. So I can taste the OG Kush from that. Yeah. Whatever OG it is, I can taste it. Easy, fucking done, you know what I mean?
Holy shit. What is that?
This is going to be a little bit...
Now that has a green...
Yeah, this has a greener...
So what is
So
this?
basically what they did is they stripped this one a little bit too long. Oh, this is the 3 OGs. So we just dabbed 2 OGs. So this is...
2 different OGs together?
Yep, and then this has 3 different OGs together.
If you have an idea, a business, perhaps just some thoughts about cannabis, contact me. I want to hear from you. I want to discuss these issues: health, food, music, growing, technology, business, everything else. CCP. Hey, Cannapreneurs. This week's show is sponsored by Dairy Berry's Recording Studio. Dairy Berry's Recording Studio, located in Arvada, Colorado, is your local recording studio with affordable rates. Mark is well experienced and will make your show, music, or any audio you have sound great. He makes our show come across the internet loud and clear every week, and he can do the same for your project. Take a look at dairyberriesrecordingstudio.com or call Mark at 303-456-8216. Feeling guilty about a time with cannabis? Get it off your chest and confess it on Cannafessions, your public forum to absolve your soul.
New voice message, Wednesday, 4:21 p.m.
Hey, yeah, this is Mark. I went over to my grandma's house for a Christmas dinner, and I lost my bag. I looked all up for it, and I couldn't find it. And I left, and my aunt came over. She was standing in the room, and the next day, my grandma found a bag and blamed it on her. Thought she was smoking weed. She kept denying it. She's older. She kept denying it, and my grandma, she was convinced it was hers, and she wanted to take him to the hospital so she could get fixed because she was a weed addict. And I never told him that it was my bag. So sorry, Auntie. Sorry, Grandma. It's really mine. And yeah, okay. I feel better. Thanks. Bye.
To replay this message, press 1. To delete this message and go to the next, press 7.
And that was Cannafessions. If you have a confession to make, contact me via Facebook or the website at cannabiscommunityproject.com.
Trust me, if we could drop everything and move to Colorado, we would, and we would have done it a year ago. Like, we can't.
Sweet smile, but I forget your name. Met you once, but I'm not to blame. Drink in hand, and it's a shame that I'm not better.
Fortunately, we're stuck here.
Hand to hold when I feel sweet, and then there's cold, and then there's me.
Trying to make the best of what we can.
Yeah, we're trying to find the silver lining in the situation in Massachusetts and like help people just rise above the situation. It's fucking tough out here, man.
And if you want me to walk in line, you should know that I've made up my mind to waste your time.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
But if beginnings are any indicators of endings, you guys have a great future ahead of you. Congratulations for participating.
Persevere, it's all you can do. This was a great opportunity, and like one of the things that that I want to leave you with is that we know that we're not the best. We know that we're not 100% experts. We know that we're not as experienced as a ton of other people out there with their businesses.
And if you want me to walk in line, you should know that I've made up my mind to waste your time.
The difference between us and everyone else is that Tim and I can provide understanding. We can provide family understanding. We know what it's like to have small children, and we know what it's like to have to take care of elderly people. We know what it's like to have to balance family and medicine and growing and discretion.
And if you want me to walk in line, you should know that I've made up my mind to waste your time. Suddenly I wonder how the world started ending now. Is it too late to turn around and be better?
Our whole hope with our company is to be able to help people.
Hey, how you doing? My name's Barry Lincoln.
Wow.
I'm just like, what? Like, man. I went around the country with my tape recorder, and I taped different people having...
on a faulty pretense. Since the Wall Street casino has your interest at heart, they're gambling your money on derivative bonds. And as our currency falls, Congress race for recess. Not before the reform bill was gutted. So put your faith in a system that brings out the worst. We don't fix tomorrow, there'll be no recourse. The whole world can feel the effects of greed as our market collapse, the global economy. Our system needs a full facelift. Too fast to fake this progress. Campaigns framed on promises that they would find, but these politicians can all be bought with a prize. Go take your seat, the only cost demise. Begin the meltdown now. So put your faith in a system that brings out the worst. We don't fix tomorrow, there'll be no recourse. Recourse. Your actions state your motive. Be warned, we won't make it long. Go, you're far away. Go. Put your faith in a system that brings out the worst. We don't fix tomorrow, there'll be no recourse.
All right. You calling from New Jersey?
No, I am calling from Steamboat Springs. I moved up here from New Jersey in like late 2007, and I just never changed my phone number. I've had the same phone for a long time, so never changed it.
That doesn't cause you like delays in service or from having an out-of-state phone or service?
It definitely does.
Cool. Steamboat's a cool place. I've been up there a few times.
Yeah, I love it up here. I moved here when I was 18. I've just been working, riding my snowboard, and living up here since then, and I'm definitely in love with it. Okay, I am Anthony Franchosi from the Honest Marijuana Company in Oak Creek, Colorado at www.honestmarijuana.com. We are trying to create the highest quality organic flower that we will turn into concentrates and edibles, other packaged goods. Right now we're focusing mostly on the flower and extract side of things, but basically my whole ethos is soil grown organic cannabis, and that's kind of the basis for everything else we're doing.
So you're growers at the core of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're growers.
That's absolutely my number one role, for sure.
Are you growers with the intention of working with wholesale dispensaries, the individual consumer market? Who's your end market?
We are hoping to work with the wholesale dispensaries, absolutely. Maybe some other edibles companies. We are creating a state-of-the-art extraction facility where hopefully we might be able to help other companies who are growers with maybe some of their extraction needs, both solventless and DHO, and we're focusing on that as well as, our own high-quality flower and extractions.
So you're growing flower for the purpose of making it into concentrates to then wholesale to dispensaries.
Yeah, we're going to be doing that as well as hopefully wholesaling flower also. I mean, my whole thing is growing high-quality organic cannabis. I think there's a need for the solventless market using ice water extraction, which is my favorite way to consume concentrates. But there's definitely a need for high-quality butane extraction, and I think we can do that with residual solvent levels in the upper echelon of the industry. I have been in business my LLC was formed in August, so I'm very new business, but my whole adult life I've been focusing on growing organic cannabis. And for my day job, basically, for the past almost 10 years, what I do day to day is I'm an irrigation specialist for a landscaping company.
Okay.
I basically focus on efficient water management and soil conditions for all different types of projects.
Your background is in growing. That's where your experience is. What is your role at the company? Are you the main grower? Are you the CEO? Are you doing a bit of everything?
I mean, I own the company, absolutely. I'm working with a family friend who is building a state-of-the-art cannabis growing facility in Oak Creek, Colorado, which is in northwest Colorado, kind of near Steamboat. And I've worked with him to design a facility that I think will be able to create extremely high-quality organic cannabis with a minimal footprint, and one that we're working on reducing as we, kind of get going.
Very good. And you mentioned licenses. What license are you operating under?
We have a Tier 1 cultivation license and a MIPS license also.
Okay, excellent. And you acquired those from somebody else on a transfer or directly from a Steamboat there, or that area you're at?
No, not Oak Creek. Oak Creek is the township we're working in, and we're building a brand new building from the ground up. We worked very closely with the town to create a cannabis facility that is kind of unlike others in the way that it doesn't look like an industrial compound. It almost looks residential, I would say.
How many licenses are available in that area?
Well, as far as I know, in Oak Creek, they have set a limit. There's a handful of other operators in that space, like Breckenridge Cannabis Club has a grow up there. I'm not sure if they're still operating there, but it's a small town, put it that way.
Right.
I don't think there's going to be too many more people operating up there, but as far as I know, if you work with the town, they've been really good with us, helping us to get going, and like I said, we wanted to be in this area, so we feel fortunate to be in Oak Creek.
Yeah, very cool. And fortunate enough to still find available licenses throughout the state and for a community that supports you. So you said you're building a facility from the ground up. How big of a facility? How many people are you going to be employing? What's the full extent of the functions of the facility?
We think 10 people in the first year will be working with us. The footprint of the building is 2,250 square feet, and it's 3 stories, so close to 8,000 square feet. We're focusing most of that space on growing and a lot of other space on the infused products, mostly concentrates. So everyone will kind of be working to that capacity. Trimmers, growers, a couple people in the concentrate side who we are really excited to be working with, some really smart people. So really stoked on that, and that's really what we have going on.
I can see why the town is excited. 10 people is a lot, especially in a small town. Building, construction, permits, I mean, the whole deal. That's a good investment into that community. I could see why the town is definitely supporting you on that. Who's funding this? Are you self-funding? Were you able to obtain investors? How did you get off the ground?
I am being funded by a family friend. He's building the building. He's building a state-of-the-art cannabis growery, which I helped design down to the floor drains, where light switches are. It was my extreme pleasure. I don't know how to say it besides that. But he wanted to be involved in the industry and had talked to several other people previous to me, kind of looked all over the state, Denver mostly. And I had been working with a different set of investors before that because there's a lot of interest in the industry right now. I've been growing for a handful of years and I'm very passionate about it, and I try to educate myself. I had the opportunity to talk to a few different people. It didn't work out for me. Luckily, the gentleman I'm working with, I have family ties to. And so we kind of had got together and talked about the way that I saw maybe getting into the industry. And Oak Creek and Steamboat, this is the area I live in, and I said, this is how we could do it here, and we kind of just got together, and he decided that building this facility where we're building it would be advantageous.
Is your background a business background? What is your previous experience? Have you started businesses before?
No, sir. My background is I moved to Colorado, and I've been working really hard ever since, and I grow high-quality cannabis, and I had done it under the medical program for many years, and my landscaping work, I've kind of found niche positions in the industries I work in, I guess. And so that's really it. The people I'm working with, I'm surrounded by smart people, so that's really helpful, and they're kind of allowing me to do my job, which is kind of reach out for this goal of organically grown, soil-grown cannabis, highest quality. So that's my goal, and I'm working with good people who want to achieve that also.
So you're having to do a little bit of everything. What are some of the barriers or surprises that you've seen in just the last few months that maybe you didn't expect or anticipate from starting a business?
The licensing process was very expensive. We got through that. I mean, we worked closely with the town for our building, which that was a massive process. I've worked in the construction world for almost 10 years. You know, I'm a young guy, but my whole adult life. When we started this process, I didn't know what I was quite the depth, what it was going to take. So it's taken a lot longer than I thought it would. That's been the biggest thing, getting this building constructed. I have to say it's the biggest thing that I've learned. And now you're just finding out, I guess, it's a very competitive market in the state, which we expected, but there's definitely more we're learning every day. I think the biggest thing right now is just getting that building open and starting to grow, and I'm sure then I'm going to learn even a lot more.
Even before the building is built, are you in operations right now, or are you waiting until the building is built to start operation?
Yeah, absolutely waiting to start. We have no legal ability to produce cannabis right now until the building is finished.
Okay, so the building is dependent on the license, and the license is dependent on the building. You're kind of locked into those two things happening before you can move forward.
Yeah, they gave us the license on a future premise, but we're right there. We're going to be operational in just the next few months. It's going up really quickly. Really excited about kind of some of the things we're doing in there.
What is I guess your market area? Is it just the small towns around where you are in Steamboat, or are you going to attempt to reach the entire state of Colorado?
My understanding is there's 300 plus recreational stores, similar number medical. We're not in the medical side yet, but hopefully in the next year we can kind of move in that direction. I would love to be in all of the stores. That's the goal for sure. I think what we're going to do is just start by focusing on our product. We have some people in the industry already who we think we might be able to work with, and hopefully it can evolve from there. But first things is just getting this building going and kind of just focusing on the process. We'll have something really awesome to hopefully offer the industry.
And you mentioned the competition, potential barriers that might be in place. Is there a specific marketing plan or strategy that you as a group are looking at to break through the large amount of competition that's out there? What is the plan?
First thing is we're kind of seeking out some recreational storefront opportunities already. Ideally, we would like to control seed to sale. I don't think that's something we're going to be able to do in more than one place for quite a long time. But I know I know people who are in a similar business model as mine in the area where I'm working, and they're finding that there is a need for wholesale products on the Front Range and elsewhere. We're hoping that, we've been going to the industry conferences. My partner was just in Chicago, or kind of somebody I've been working with. We've been talking to a lot of different people, reaching out in a marketing standpoint. So hopefully, once we get some tested product, we'll be able to go back to some of the people we've already talked to and just say, we've told you about the facility we're building, and here's our product, and hopefully we can do business down the road.
People seems to be an important part of most businesses, and you've mentioned it a few times. You registered with the state. Did you do that on your own, or did you retain a lawyer to do that?
I did everything through the med myself.
Okay.
We definitely talked a little bit with a lawyer to make sure that I had all my ducks in a row, because it's an expensive process to get all that stuff figured out. And in my particular situation, the way the jurisdiction I'm working in works is that you have to be approved locally before you can even go to the state. Because if you go to the state and the state approves your plan, and then the local jurisdiction sees that, they will automatically kick you out. We're building, the first thing I had to do was go talk to the town and the town board and the planning commission and kind of approach them about what we wanted to do and the way we wanted to do it. And we've been working within their parameters, and I think we have a good relationship with the town. So
yeah, it sounds like probably a local ego thing, where if locals see you're going past them straight to the state, they probably get a little offended. They just want their due respect. At least you got their support rather than having to fight against them like many people are doing in towns all across Colorado, fighting against the local municipalities to try to enact their rights. Since you're so new, what is the next year, meaning this year, 2015, the overall projection of where you would like to see this business be by this time next year?
This time next year, we expect to be fully operational. What I'd like to see is some of our product going elsewhere in the state, and more importantly, I'd love to see some of it locally here in Steamboat. I know some of the people who work in the industry here in the few of the stores we have in this area, and that would be awesome to sell some of our products locally. That would be great. Hopefully be going elsewhere in the state. What I really just want to see is some good tested flour and concentrates with no residuals, no heavy metals, and definitely no pesticides, anything like that. So if we can get our whole organic ethos going, that'll be success in next year. We're going to introduce, we have some compostable packaging ideas, which we think are going to be awesome. We can make that all happen. The facility should be going in the next few months. That's really been what our whole world is revolving around right now, is just making sure that it comes out the way we want it to. And so far, I think we're on the right track.
Very cool. And that sounds like a lot. I've never had to build a facility, but I can imagine what goes into that: the coordination, the time, the money. There's a lot of stress, but also a lot to really handle. How is a daily schedule or your daily life like? If you can give people an idea, are you just doing a standard 8 to 5? Are you doing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? What is your life like in these beginning months?
I work full-time landscaping. That's what so I'm this time of the year in the spring, my irrigation job, I'm kind of getting everybody's sprinkler systems on, commercial, residential, in this whole area. We take care of upwards of 200 different places. So that's my department. That's what I do. Other than that, I'm just keeping in touch with our engineer and our architect and our builders. I go out to the building site a couple times a week and take pictures. I try to talk to the neighbors. I know some of them, so I think we have a good relationship with the people out there, even while the facility is being built. So that's what it is. It's working full time and kind of emails in the morning. I'm talking to you today on Saturday, trying to promote what we're doing, and it never ends. But it's a good place to be in. I'm excited and motivated, so no complaints on my end.
Is there any advice or anything you would give to somebody else who's thinking about starting a business, maybe in a similar industry or a similar product, but just some advice for an entrepreneur to maybe something they hadn't thought of that you've learned over these last couple months that somebody else could learn from your experience?
You need good partners. Capital is the number one thing, but I think the one thing that I've learned is that if you have a good idea and you're passionate, is that your milkman has $250,000 who he wants to make money too. And so that's something that I've absolutely learned, is that if you have a good idea and you're passionate, reach out for it and try to achieve it. And I'm not there yet. We're in the process of doing big things, I think, but so far getting the opportunity to build this building and head on down this path has been awesome. And I think, but you have to be passionate and you have to be hardworking. I think that's really what it is. It's the people who make things happen are the ones who are kind of constantly trying to perfect their craft and studying and trying to get better. So you can't rest on your laurel, I guess, and expect good things to happen.
Great. That's some pretty good advice. Since you mentioned the idea, whose idea was this whole business?
I wanted to start a boutique organic cannabis brand with the highest quality and least impact on the final consumer and the environment. Anytime I talk to anyone, that was the only way I saw kind of existing in the industry. At this point, like we were talking about, it's an extremely competitive market, but I think the highest quality products will be still have demand. So we're in the lower 30% of size as far as grows are considered in the state, but hopefully we can be in the top tier of quality, and that's what I wanted to do. Really what I said was, I'll grow in a shed if I have a license, but that I need to kind of get things going. And then as we looked into it more and more, it didn't make sense to go any smaller or any bigger than where we're at. It was my idea, but I think some good people got involved and everybody's kind of behind the same.
How do you get other people motivated about an idea that's not theirs?
I think you just have to be humble with your own ideas, and that way everyone can kind of take on ownership with the project. I mean, that's a good question. I don't know how to answer it correctly, but
I mean, I'm always just curious to how people actually get others who weren't involved in the original creation of the idea, that weren't there as part of the genesis of everything. How do you actually get those people involved prior to having resources and money to pay top salaries and have that full infrastructure going?
I mean, most of the people we're working with are going to take pay cuts to work with us because when you have a kind of a clear set goals and a vision of how things are going to go, and you can get people involved in that mentality and kind of feel like they're helping to start something. I haven't found it to be that difficult. I think people, they're generally, at least the ones around here that I'm working with, want to be involved in the industry and really want to. That's part of it too, is it's an exciting industry. So people want to be involved, and a lot of them have kind of been involved vicariously in a lot of ways, but not necessarily in a commercial setting. So those are kind of the people we're working with.
Where would you have gone if you didn't have a friend that was able to be an investor? What other options would have been available?
I'm not sure, to be honest. With the cost of licensing, I mean, maybe I don't think I would have gone that way. I think I would have continued to grow for myself medically for personal use, and I was in the restaurant and landscaping business, and kind of saw myself continuing down that road. When I got involved in talking to people about how we could take what I was doing to a kind of bigger scale, it kind of became more real, and we just kept running with it.
Yeah. I think that just points to so basically your friend was the catalyst that allowed you to start your own business. Without him, like many other people, it shows the market really needs more places for money, more investors, more banks, more availability of capital. That will probably be the next industry to come in this industry, is the funding for all these entrepreneurs.
And hopefully we see that, because they're making it so hard right now. You keep seeing these banks come online, and then they walk away. Like we were talking to M-Bank when M-Bank said that they were going to work with Colorado, and we got the whole application process started. They said 3 days later, we're not doing it. So I think that's absolutely correct.
Maybe there'll be lesser forms of crowdfunding that play a role in this. There'll be more individual angel investors and more organizations like Canopy, if you've heard of them. They're an incubator that's giving $20,000 to startups to work through a 90-day accelerator program. And then at the end of that 90 days, make a pitch to a room full of investors for bigger money. So I think the combination of all of those things together will help more people like yourself break through and start their own businesses and hopefully succeed at all of that.
Extremely fortunate to just, I guess, talk to the right people at the right time. You're not lying about that at all.
Absolutely. Hey, was there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't touch on, or anything you were hoping to be able to talk about or promote or anything?
I think the only thing I'm trying to promote in general is wholesome organic cannabis that's grown probiotically through microbial life and soil life to achieve the highest quality organic cannabis. And I think that's really, there's people in the state doing that already. I'm not saying I'm the only one, but I think that's definitely, that's what we're doing. And we're trying to use alternative lighting that causes less of a footprint to grow high quality organic cannabis and make high quality solventless concentrate. So that's my whole thing, and it's honestmarijuana.com. You can check out Honest Marijuana on Instagram, and at Colorado Melt. At Colorado Melt on Instagram is our solventless hash maker. He is a master in the ice water extraction, so check that out. And honestmarijuana.com, really.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it, man. That's been a good conversation. I think I've learned quite a bit about you, and I think the audience will get some good information about your business and how you went about starting it, and hopefully information that inspires other people to do the same thing. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time on a Saturday afternoon. I hope the weather's as hot out there as it is here in Denver.
Yeah, finally. It's not raining.
And stay in touch with your business so we can do little updates throughout the months as you get closer to your opening, so we can just kind of see how you're progressing and additional things you're doing to open your business now.
Right on. Thank you very much. I appreciate you talking to me.
All right, man. You enjoy. We'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to this week's show. Make sure to come back next week. We're going to have more guests lined up, speaking with dispensary owners, growers, business owners. Make sure to follow us on all of the social media, Facebook, Google+. You can listen to our shows live from the website or your preferred listening platform. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, even YouTube, all under the same name, CannabisCommunityProject.com. We'll see you next week.